Benny and the Firefly Forest. It was a warm and quiet night in the forest, and Benny the bear had just snuggled into bed. The stars were twinkling and the clouds floated lazily above. Just as Benny's eyes began to close, he heard a soft flicker. Flick, flick, flick. He looked out of the window, and there, just beyond the trees, were tiny golden lights dancing in the dark. A whisper came through the window. "Benny, would you like to follow the fireflies?" Benny nodded sheepily and tiptoed outside, holding his teddy tight. A gentle breeze wrapped around him like a hug and lifted him up, 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 until he was floating through the sky on a slow-moving cloud. Below, the trees were glowing. The forest was alive with hundreds of fireflies, twinkling like stars on the ground. The cloud gently lowered Benny into a hidden meadow filled with soft moss and sparkling light. The fireflies swirled around him, giggling quietly and lighting the way like tiny lanterns. In the middle of the meadow stood a tree shaped like a teacup, and inside it was the sleepy owl, wearing a scarf and glasses. "Welcome to the Firefly Library," said the owl, smiling. "Every light is a dream someone had." Benny listened as the owl opened a glowing book, and fireflies hovered above the pages, creating pictures in the air of underwater castles, cloud dragons, and moon gardens. Benny yawned a big bear yawn. "Can I come back here again?" "Every time you dream," said the owl. The fireflies gently lifted Benny back into his cloud, and as they flew home, they hummed a quiet lullaby like tiny bells in the breeze. Back in bed, Benny clutched his teddy, close, eyes closed, dreams glowing softly behind them. The end. Benny and the Balloon Moon. One night, just as Benny was brushing his teeth and getting into his pajamas, he noticed something strange out of his window. The moon was floating lower than usual, and it had a string attached to it, just like a balloon. Benny opened the window and the moon drifted closer, glowing softly. "Would you like to go for a gentle float, Benny?" it whispered. Benny giggled, grabbed his teddy and held onto the string. Up, up, up they went, the moon lifting them like the biggest balloon in the sky. They floated slowly over the forest, the hills, and even the sleepy ocean. Everything below looked tiny and peaceful. Owls hooted softly, waves shimmered like silver ribbons. As they floated, the moon told stories of all the places it had seen. A desert where stars fell like snow, a mountain where clouds sing lullabies, a tiny island shaped like a heart. Benny listened with wide eyes, his little body snuggled up against the warm moon glow. Then the moon said, "I've got something for you." From behind a puffy cloud, the moon pulled out a tiny silver balloon, just Benny's size. "This is a dream balloon. You can use it any night you want to visit me again." Benny smiled sleepily, clutching the balloon in one paw and his teddy in the other. As the moon gently floated him back to his bed, it whispered, "Dream sweet, little bear. I'll be right above you." Benny tucked the silver balloon under his pillow, curled up in bed, and floated into dreams, just like he floated through the sky. The end. Benny and the Dream Lanterns. It was a quiet night, and Benny the bear had just settled into bed when he noticed a gentle flicker outside his window, a soft golden light swaying like a candle in the breeze. Benny peeked outside and saw a row of tiny floating lanterns drifting slowly through the trees like fireflies in a line. He tiptoed outside in his slippers, holding his teddy bear tight. One of the lanterns dipped low and whispered, "Would you like to follow the dream lanterns, Benny?" Benny nodded, and the lanterns lifted him gently into the sky, floating like bubbles on the wind. They carried him higher and higher past the trees, past the rooftops, and into the soft clouds. There, Benny saw something magical. Above the clouds was a lantern garden, glowing softly with lights of all colours. Each lantern floated around like a firefly, some slow, some spinning, some gently pulsing like heartbeats. A kind voice echoed through the sky. These are the dreams of every child in the world. Benny watched as lanterns floated to sleeping children. One flew to a girl dreaming of whales, another to a boy building a marshmallow castle. "Would you like to plant your dream?" the voice asked. Benny chose a lantern, small, round, and glowing with a soft blue light. Inside his dream flickered to life, a floating picnic with his teddy on a cloud surrounded by giggling penguins. The lantern laughed, a warm, happy sound, and lifted up into the sky. Benny watched it go, then yawned a big, sleepy yawn. The dream lanterns carried him gently back down to his room, tucking him in as he held his teddy close. Out the window, one last lantern hovered for a moment, then blinked once, twice, and floated off into the stars. The end. Benny and the Sunset Picnic. It was a warm summer evening, and Benny the bear had just finished his supper. The sky outside was glowing orange and pink, and the breeze through the window smelled like flowers and sunshine. Benny brushed his teeth, grabbed his teddy, and climbed into bed. Just as his eyes began to close, a soft voice floated in on the wind. "Benny, the clouds are having a sunset picnic. Would you like to join us?" Benny opened his eyes and saw a wide, fluffy cloud just outside his window. It was shaped like a big, round blanket, and on it were tiny plates of starlight snacks and cloudberry tea. He climbed aboard, holding Teddy tight, and up they went, floating slowly through the golden sky, surrounded by soft summer clouds. A picnic was already in full swing. A cloud shaped like a turtle was handing out marshmallow rolls. A sunny little cloud pup was playing soft music on a dandelion flute. There was even a cloud kite flying gently above, glowing with streaks of pink and peach from the setting sun. Benny sat down and shared some honey breeze biscuits with a sleepy fox cub and a chubby hedgehog made of fluff. They all giggled as the wind carried the scent of strawberries and warm air. As the sun began to dip below the horizon, the clouds started to glow gently. Fireflies arrived, dancing between teacups, lighting up the sky. A tiny cloud floated over and whispered, "It's time, Benny." He lay back on a pillow made of sunset and let the soft breeze carry him home. As he curled into bed, a warm golden light glowed at his window, like the sunset waving goodnight. Benny closed his eyes and dreamed of marshmallow clouds, music in the sky, and strawberry-scented summer winds. The end. Benny and the Whispering Meadow. One warm summer night, the stars were just beginning to twinkle when Benny the bear heard a soft rustling outside his window. Swish, hush, swish. He peeked out and saw a wide field of tall grass and wildflowers, gently waving like they were whispering to each other. Just then, a butterfly made of sunlight fluttered to his windowsill and said, "Benny, the meadow is calling. Would you like to come and listen to the whispers?" Benny nodded sleepily, grabbed his teddy and tiptoed out into the summer night. The grass was soft beneath his paws, and the air smelled like daisies and fresh air. The butterfly led him through the whispering meadow where flowers leaned in to say hello. Each petal shimmered, and every breeze carried tiny, gentle voices. "Good evening, Benny. We've been waiting to tell you stories." Benny sat on a patch of soft moss, and the meadow began to whisper him tales of ladybirds who ride the wind, of clouds who nap in the tall grass, of a sunflower that giggled every time the sun said goodbye. Tiny creatures peeked out to listen. A snail with a glowing shell, a grasshopper with a top hat, and a baby deer wearing a daisy crown. As the night grew darker, the flowers began to hum, a soft summer song, like a lullaby sung by the wind. The butterfly gently wrapped Benny in its wings like a blanket and carried him back to his bed. As he snuggled under his covers, he could still hear the quiet hush of the meadow whispering, "Sleep well, little bear, come back soon." Benny smiled, closed his eyes, and let the meadow's music carry him off to dream. The end.